Thank you for being here, Ivan. I have already announced your demo, so maybe I could switch the screen to show you the audience, but I'm afraid of the cables that something would be, I don't know, whatever. But just to describe to you, we have something around 80 people here in the room, basically some nice mix of HR people, people from engineering background, various industries like public sector, private sector, and so on. So this is your audience as we spoke previously. And I have already announced you, and iki.ai already told that I appreciate the app very much, that it's one of our top AI products that were recently launched based on startups and so on. So you already got a huge intro from me to the audience. And I guess I just may leave the floor to you if that works for you, Ilin.
Thank you so much, Yelena, and thank you for having me here. I can see all of you guys, but I'm happy that you're there listening. I'll make a very brief demo, not wasting your time.
Recording in progress.
We're building iki.ai as an intelligent knowledge interface for professionals and teams where they can store their knowledge, and also like a source to which you can plug your different cloud storages like Notion, Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever. We're working on integrations, so it doesn't matter where you store your knowledge. Actually, it's still easy to plug it into Iki. But I'll start with the library, and I've got a lot of stuff saved in here. It's like 1,500 pages. These are URLs, PDFs, different things. So, for example, it's an article by Leni Rachitsky, which is pretty famous. I'll just show briefly how it works with our assistant. There might be some issues with the internet, but yeah, normally like any demo cannot go without those. And also, like we recently seen issues with Cloud Sonnet API. They have a lot of load. Let me. It's probably just a second. So I just wanted to switch to a different large language model because Claude sometimes is not that consistent, but it produces the best results. They just recently had it produced. Sorry, it was the internet connection. So let's switch it to this one, to GPT-4o, and ask it to extract key ideas. Yeah, perfect. So these are things like takeaways from this one if you want to skim through content. Also wanted to make a nice demo of how you can use Assistant in your library, over the whole library. For example, I'm researching a lot of RAG techniques, and I would like to ask our Copilot to tell me about advanced RAG techniques. So that's pretty fast. It retrieved a number of materials from my library. As I said, I have over 1,000 documents saved in there, and it retrieved the most relevant ones, and then outlined an answer referencing a couple of sources. So that's pretty technical, I know, but the core thing is that if you ask ChatGPT or Perplexity, even Perplexity, which is a great product, but they don't rely on your context, and that's why they will, if you ask about advanced RAG techniques, the answer would be way more vague. I'm still curious if Claude will work, because like I said, they have a huge load on their API right now. They're scaling it, but let us try to ask the same question in Claude. Yeah. That's a good and more, I would say it's a bit more precise and a bit more wordy answer, but it references more techniques. Some of them are similar, some of them are different, I think. I prefer Claude more when it's not laggy, but have to admit that OpenAI API is super stable. And this model, for example, GPT-4o mini is super fast. So if you want your answers delivered at the fast mode, you probably want to stick with the mini model. That's the key. So the key use case that I described is saving materials to your library, and then acquiring your AI Copilot in order to briefly get answers and not to search for things manually. You also can write inside Iki. So that was a new note button I hit, and I can use this Copilot answer as a starting point for my article about advanced RAG, for example. So I have some formatting here. I can make it a heading, write whatever. And I hope next week we're gonna have a release. Not committing to the timeline, but it's almost ready. We are working on this editor to be much more advanced with AI capabilities. So you won't only have your Copilot in here, but you would be able to rewrite this content and make it shorter, connect different pieces of knowledge that you have in here. So it's going to be a way more advanced editor integrated. And then you'll also have these blocks like in Notion that you'll be able to incorporate inside your node. So that's going to be a fully fledged editor with AI capabilities. And what we want to do is to let you reason upon your content and facilitate the creation of new knowledge. That's basically what we're doing. We also have collections. It's our way to organize knowledge. I have a collection on agents. I think that's going to be the last part of my demo. I'll just ask it to compare React and self-reflection architectures of LM agents. I know it's pretty technical, but that's what we need such an assistant for, because if it's general knowledge, you can just go to ChatGPT and it will perfectly solve your question, answer a question, solve your problem. But if you are trying to be specific to some knowledge domain, then it's way better to have an assistant upon the knowledge that you find relevant and your findings, your library. These also may be PDFs with large trend reports, whatever you work with. So
Even can I interrupt for a second?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm almost like I'm done, I think.
Perfect. So we have tried the Iki previously, used it for some of our use cases and so on, but maybe without like further maybe demoing on the screen, rather like walk us or talk us through. What would you suggest as some common use case for people who are from L&D, organizational people leading learning and development and so on? How can iki.ai be integrated into some workflows in L&D? What's the benefit and so on? Maybe from your words. I have like huge ideas around that, but I would also like you to share your view of product. I know that it has many different applications, but specifically for our audience today, anything that you would like to share, perhaps?
So I think I made like the demo that I made covered the engineering case when you have a lot of different sources of knowledge, like GitHub repos, PDFs, and so on, and you need to reason upon all this knowledge that you save. So that's one of the cases, but then there are also content creators, and part of the demo was about how you can write in Iki, so how you can leverage the knowledge that's outside already to produce new texts, new ideas. Then I think for marketing or consulting agencies, specialists, it makes it a lot more sense to use Iki to skim through large pieces of content. For example, you're dealing with a huge trend report. It can be like 200 pages, and it just takes time to find relevant information inside it. So it's way easier just to upload it, drop it to your library, and then ask particular questions. What's the market size? What's the trend here? What's the revenue of such companies, and so on. So that's obvious thing. You can also leverage reasoning capabilities of large language models, not just for search, but to compare things, to make analysis, comparative analysis of different documents, of different entities, be that it doesn't matter actually what it is. It can be companies, it can be some abstractions. For example, I made this demo with the collection comparing to agentic architectures, but you can also compare to marketing strategies or to trends, whatever. So what I'm trying to say, there are really a lot of implementations, a lot of use cases, but the core idea that we're leveraging large language models, reasoning abilities upon your knowledge, your content, in your context.
So that's basically the key, like some sort of localization and context for the different types of models to actually show their capabilities. We talked about this previously in a podcast that we had together somewhere, I think this summer or something, and the question repeated, can iki.ai replace some of the companies or organizational LMSs, learning management systems? I know you hate the questions, but I like the question and the answer.
No, it's a good question, actually. So I think there are different parts of learning process. So one of the parts is to get the flow of new information relevant to you, and basically to recommend people courses and tutorials, any learning materials that are relevant to them. We had this part in Iki, actually. That's where Iki started. But right now we don't have it because there's already so much content out there, and we're fighting information overload. We don't want to produce more, produce more load on you. And I think these should be left to either professional coaches or the best recommendation systems out there. And the best systems are the ones that have the most number of users and largest number of content. And these are obviously platforms like LinkedIn, YouTube. They are doing a great job in recommending relevant things based on what you find interesting. So we decided not to go right there. But then the other part of learning process after you consume the content is reason upon it, trying to remember things, trying to make some reflections upon what you've learned. And that's where we shine. That's what I'm using Iki for, because it's impossible to remember everything, especially in the field of machine learning right now. It's it grows at a crazy pace, I'm saying. And it's just impossible to keep all the algorithms, all the ideas in your brain. That's why I'm constantly updating my library and using Iki a lot to make sense of things.
So could we say that iki.ai can be used as some sort of a metaphor, external brain, where we organize and storage information? And obviously there are direct competitors, as you said, all LLMs from ChatGPT to Perplexity, maybe Notion also, those are competitors. But what would you say that is specific regarding iki.ai, and maybe two use cases that maybe to focus on, one individual like application, that external brain metaphor, and the other, if we talk organizationally, if you have external brains times, I don't know, 1,000 people in the organization, what kind of a difference does that make, and what are the processes that are possible thanks to iki.ai in that case?
Mm-hmm. So for me, I definitely lack a space, and a lot of people are like me. So there are people that like to save what they find relevant, because not everything you see online is relevant. For example, you Google things, you find something cool, but then you either store it in tabs, which I also kind of do, but it's super inefficient, or you need some place to store it. And then ideally, you don't want to have it just as storage, but you want to kind of have an assistant that is aware of the content inside this thing. So that's what Iki is shining in. And so we read full text of any source you put inside us. That's why we're able to reason upon it. And we have a content management system, which separates us from the interface in ChatGPT and Claude. And we're using ChatGPT and Claude under the hood, their models. So it's definitely not worse, but it is augmented with your knowledge. And we make this augmentation seamless with our RAG techniques that I have a large article about. Then speaking of Perplexity, it's a very cool product, but it's more about web search. And I think we're gonna have their models under the hood soon too, because they have an API and they've done an amazing job in indexing web and like trying to eliminate noise and make your web search more efficient than Google does. So we're not a direct competitor. It's rather an augmenting product. Still, like I would say there's a lot of competition in the market in general, because everyone is trying to build another like next AI unicorn. We're also there, and I'm seeing a huge update coming in Teams and integrations this December, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Please give it a try.
Sure, definitely. As I said, we are huge supporters and fans and look forward to integrating that into our kind of products that we're developing. Maybe we have one question from audience, if there is, for Ivan. Anybody? There is one question already in Mentimeter.
Hi again, Ivan.
Good day.
Does all of our data that we would like to analyze and get insights from need to be on your storage, or there is a third-party implementation so we can use our own source of data?
You heard the question?
Yeah. Thank you. So the idea is that we are shipping integrations with Google Drive, Notion, Obsidian, and Dropbox, and we'll be able to plug in your data sources among those four, and we'll just grab text of these sources, like of the documents in there, but you'll still have your documents in there stored as files. Otherwise, if you want to upload something to our library, it's going to be stored in iki. There's a button that I didn't show in the demo, but there's a Seamless Plus button you can use to upload your data. And then it is stored on AWS servers in a secure contour. So like 30% of the web is living on the AWS, so don't worry about the security part.
Thank you so much, Ivan. I really look forward to that kind of future, which I think iki.ai is charting, where LMSs would not be static, like, content driven in a way, like fixed content and fixed courses, modules, and so on, but rather some sort of drag and drop AI driven, really augmentation of our cognitive capacities. Also now speaking as a psychologist crawling out of me and speaking about how these kinds of tools can actually augment the way we think, the way we also think about our thinking, like regulate our cognitive processes and so on. So that is the future that I see in this kind of products, and really thank you for showcasing iki.ai today on our conference. Maybe if anybody is interested in trying out iki.ai, you can go to the website. Maybe there is some sort of a demo still available. I don't know. Haven't checked since our approach somewhere previously, but I'm sure that Ivan would have some idea. Anything even that people can try out immediately, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. You can just go to the webpage, iki.ai, and there's the product. We have now limited the free access. You have free trial, you can cancel it. If there's going to be some specific requests, I'm happy to handle them on the individual basis. But right now we have like Black Friday campaign, it's 40% discount, so it's super cheap right now.
So very conveniently, it's Black Friday. Thank you, Ivan. I know that you're busy and that you're calling in from another conference, so thank you so much for your time, and see you some other time. And everybody, I hope you find iki.ai useful and interesting. Thanks, and see you soon.
Thank you so much, Elena, for having me, and thank you to your audience.
Yeah,
bye-bye.
Waving to you. People are waving, trust me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.